This is part 4 of our series on how to get the German freelance visa, where we speak with Beck, who successfully applied for the visa. So we're looking at a diagram now of the process. Would you be able to talk through this?
Yeah, definitely. So what you can see on the diagram is it's a 5 to 6 month long process until you receive your permanent residence or the long-term residency card, either it be for 1, 2, or 3 years long. So in this specific example, we can see that at the beginning of January you make an application with a collection of documents to the embassy, and there's also a process of reaching out to the embassy and making an appointment to attend the appointment with documents. So that process of waiting for the result from the embassy takes about 4 to 8 weeks. In some cases, especially in unprecedented COVID situation, we have seen 2.5 to 3 months of wait time with an application being made a decision upon the application. So the reason for the length of this is, I believe, that they have to send the documents to Germany from the embassy and receive the decision within Germany and send it back, the decision, and that will be announced. So I waited 2.5 months for my decision. It is very important to reach out to the embassy to find out about the status of your application. In some cases, it is simply that they don't have the time, or they overlook the documents that you have submitted, and although there is a decision made, so you need to be chasing in order to get the decision. At the end of 8 weeks, so in this example, you can see that the response from the embassy is visa granted or it's declined. So hopefully it's going to be granted for you, and they will be asking about the date when you plan to travel. So upon receiving confirmation that my visa was granted, I have attended the embassy, and they mentioned when I will be traveling into Germany, a specific date, or when should the visa start or be activated. So I mentioned that I will need a week to prepare to leave my home country, and they printed the vignette into my passport, giving me 1 week to prepare, and the visa will start from that date. Of course, you can wait longer and travel at a later date, but that will mean that you will have less time in Germany to make an application for your long-term visa at the stage 2. Again, we will be covering that in this course. So that's the date. We can see end of March, flying to Germany. And you will have 3 months in order to make the second stage application. Usually the temporary visa to enter Germany, that's called type D visa, is given for 3 months travel to Germany in order to make the further application.
So now we're looking at a different time frame, which is the time frame to permanent residence and citizenship. Would you be able to comment on this, please?
So in this diagram, we can see that citizenship is given out, or you can apply for a citizenship at the end of year 6. That means the beginning of year 7 of your arrival to Germany. And we can see the first stage is receiving the initial visa, the 3 months visa that you receive at the embassy, and that will give you allow you to enter Germany and make the application for the long-term visa. And we can see that as the second step is the residence permit for 3 years. There is no concrete process of receiving the 3-year visa. Sometimes the visa is given out for 1 year, or for 2 years, or for 3 years, as the first time when you first time receive it. That's simply because they make a decision in the immigration office in Germany upon your application whether your case is viable for 2 years or 3 years, depending on the documents you submit and depending on your case. Usually some certain areas of freelancing receive longer term visas because they're more viable, or the immigration office thinks that it's more viable to give a more long-term visas for those cases. And then upon expire of the first time visa, then you can extend it for the next times. There's no specific limit on how many times you can extend your visa. You can keep extending it as long as you follow the requirements to extend it, meaning that your freelance activities are viable, you haven't broken the law, and that you have been working and paying taxes and exercising the freelance activities that you said you would. So in this specific example diagram, you can see that an applicant receives 3-year visa, and then a visa extension happens after that at the end of year 3. And upon successfully completing those 5-year term, then you can make an application for a permanent residency, and that will open up many doors, allow you to change your work, freely work or not work in Germany, and still be able to stay in Germany. So that's a very good point.
Yes, and the point at which you can apply to naturalize as a German citizen is year 8, but with an integration course that could be as little as 6 years.
Yes, exactly. So a naturalization course is something that I believe every country would have in order to accept an individual as a citizen, whether it be 5 years, 3 years, 7 years, or 8 years. So in this example, in the example of Germany, you are able to become a German citizen at the end of 6 years of being in Germany lawfully, and they will require you to go through a test, German, living in Germany or life in Germany. And the test will be, the knowledge that you will need to have is to understand German society, history, and as well as the German language. So for permanent residency, you will need to, for German citizenship, you will need to have, I believe, B2 level German knowledge. But for permanent residence, it is a B1 level that's required.
I hope that interview with Beck was helpful. I've prepared a course with him on how to get the German freelance visa since he was successful in his application. So check out our German freelance visa course on the link just below. It's a complete suite of example documents you need. Beck got the freelance visa as a web developer and specialist in digital marketing, but it'd be useful if you're doing that or any other freelance activity. There's a very wide range of things you can do on the freelance visa. This was an application from an embassy, and the course will be particularly useful if you're applying from outside of Germany. Included in the course are example letters of intent, the visa application form, example letters of recommendation for illustration purposes, example insurance forms, and examples of the other documents you need to apply. It contains easy walkthroughs, so a walkthrough of the online process for securing insurance, a walkthrough of the online process for getting your degree recognized for the freelance visa, and it helps you avoid some of the pitfalls. So in particular, you'll learn how Beck dealt with the tricky livelihood question in the visa application form, restrictions in relation to freelance activity and employment, so navigating that red line, the conventions you need to follow in relation to numeric figures for your income, and how to avoid difficulties with navigating the process for getting your degree recognized. I also have the details of the German lawyer and other German contacts I recommend. So in summary, this course is a very practical guide, useful to anyone applying for the German freelance visa, led by a successful applicant with a complete set of example documents. Check it out on the link just below. Bye for now.